Okay, so what we're doing down here is we used to have grapevines along this fence for Concord grapes and to make grape juice and grape jelly with. But they got really, really old and heavy, and it used to be a chain link fence, and so that kind of ruined it. So since then we've just had mulch down here and actually have the sprinklers capped off. So now we have a little project of putting in some Thujas, some pinky winky hydrangeas that are going to be gorgeous. They're pink and white. And then also putting the right sprinklers head on and taking the capped one off and getting the sprinklers going to just water this area and not water the entire piece of concrete. So here's the before as we get started, and then we'll show you as we go how we did the sprinklers, how we put the plants in, and then the after.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the sprinklers. In this area, it's not very wide. So the kind of sprinkler heads that we're going to put in, they're not the kind that spray out. They're going to be more of their center strip is what they're called. And so they spray more side to side instead of in a round arch. But you can see up against this fence, we have a basketball court right here. We want to keep these sprinklers in the area where we don't want to water the concrete or the fence. So I'm going to install different sprinkler heads. Over the years, we've had different kinds of sprinklers here for different reasons, but for what we want to do now, we're going to put these center heads in. They're very easy to install, especially when you've already got them like this. We've got ours up on risers, and it's got a 1/2 inch threaded riser already installed. All I'm going to do is take off the old, in this case, it's a bubbler or a sprinkler head, and I'm going to install it with these new center spray pop-up nozzles. So the top of the nozzle is a brass nozzle. These are the ones that I like to use because with this brass, they last a little bit longer and they have a really tremendous spray pattern. But it's got these two different slots, so it'll spray out this way and spray out this way. So what's nice about looking at the top of these, we'll know how to align it when we get it on there. So once we get it screwed in, then we'll know exactly where we want that pointing. So for this, it's just as simple as taking this off, this riser. I don't need it that tall. The shrubs are not, we want to just get it to the roots of the shrubs. So we don't need to have it any taller than this little pop-up head. Now, one thing that I like to do when I go to put it on, I use Teflon tape. The Teflon tape is really easy to put on, and it just kind of prevents some leakage. So when you have the riser exposed, we're just going to wrap a little bit of this Teflon tape around it and put it right on the top of the threading, and I go around a couple times like this, and then you can just kind of snap it off and we're good to go on this. So now I'm just going to screw this head in, and this makes it really, really simple for this application. So what I'm going to do is get it nice and tight like this. Now I'm going to look at the head, it's spraying the wrong direction, so I want to line it up like that. Now I'm just going to do this to the other two sprinklers. We'll start planting shrubs. Okay, so we've got all of the shrubs, the trees, all placed where we want them. Now we're going to dig them in. This is pretty simple process. You've probably done it before. We don't have to get too deep, but we want to go about as deep as where the plant's coming up out of the planter. That's about how deep I like to go. So after I've got them all measured out, I like to keep them really close to where I'm going to put it, and we'll do one at a time. I like to work in the middle and go out. That way I know my spacing stays correct. So we'll go ahead and start digging the hole. And one thing to note too, this soil, it's been turned over multiple times throughout the years. But what we're going to do is we're going to get the plants in the soil. We're going to do a combination of this gardening soil to give a couple more nutrients and things to the roots. Once we're complete with that and everything is planted and smoothed out, we will get a nice mulch that we're going to put in over the top of it to clean it up and make it look finished. So that will be the next project after we get these put in. But at least this is the process that we use. So. Okay, now we've got the hole dug. I'm gonna put a little bit of this Miracle-Gro gardening soil down at the bottom. So we'll just kind of sprinkle a little of that down inside. Just kind of even it out a little bit. Then we're going to take this and break it free from the original container. You can see that it's just barely below the dirt. I'm going to leave the middle of this down just a little bit and create a little bit of a bowl so that when the sprinklers do hit it, it has a little area for the water to stay and drain down. So now I'm going to put some more of this Miracle-Gro around it. Not a lot, but a little bit. And we'll just kind of go out and around the plant like that. Then I'm going to push the dirt in. Like I said, as I'm doing this, I'm going to create just a little bit of a bowl so that the rest of the soil is up a little bit higher than down where this is. And just kind of smooth everything out. And then we'll rake all this up, and then when we put the mulch down on top of it, it'll look really nice when we're finished.
All right, here's where we landed for today. Everything's planted, everything's in, all mixed in. We raked, once we got everything planted, we raked it evened out and tested the sprinklers. I'm gonna take the tags off, and this is where we'll end for today. So we'll update with the after picture once we bring in the mulch and spread that across here. So that'll make it a nice finished product, but also help just to retain the moisture, prevent weed growth, and make it just look finished off.